All right, I hit start. So, Jim and Friends, read the news. My name is Jim Van Vonderen, and I am the producer of this show. The things you will hear over the next hour represent the views of Jim and Friends, read the news, and the people making them. All opinions and quotations in no way represent River West Radio and are the sole responsibility of the producer, guests, and callers. River West Radio is not liable for any legal issues arising from the content of this program. Today is July 22nd, 2012, and I am here with Zavla Play.
Hello.
It's just the two today.
Just the two of us.
Yep. Should be a song like that. Let me move my mic a little closer. So, how was your week, Zav?
You know, my weeks are all a blur to me. They go from one day to the next, and they all look kind of the same.
Yeah.
I guess it's not a very good answer, but...
Well, no, it's a true answer or something. It's right off the cuff. But today we have the sounds of Gordon Park and River West in general. It's a little walk I did.
Oh, nice.
So we'll hear the sounds of walking and just the nature. I think I can hear a little nature in there.
Yeah, here's some.
There's some nature. All right, so
feels like I'm outside.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with the Packer news, as I always do. Most important news. We are very close to training camp starting July 25th. So that's in 3 days. 3 days training camp.
3 days.
Wow. And then, I know, it seems so
Time
quick.
is flying.
Yeah, it seems so quick. But also, on that, I haven't mentioned yet, the Packers have a Lambeau Field expansion coming up. They are expanding 6,600 seats in the south end zone with a big new big screen over there. And the expansion, which costs $143 million, which they promised and will not take any taxpayer money. So it'll all be funded purely by the team. I think they're going to do another one of those stocks offerings. So if you want to own a stock of the Green Bay Packers, you can do that. It doesn't pay dividends. So you just get to have a framed piece of paper that says you own part of the Green Bay Packers. But hey, if you want to, you can do that. And also the thing, once that expansion's done, Lambeau Field will be the fourth largest stadium for football.
Really?
Yeah, fourth largest. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's impressive for a little state in the middle of
the
country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's no Dallas, which is the largest. They just had a new stadium there.
What about Yankee Stadium? That's not football.
It's not football, but I don't know what theirs is. But they're so old. It's such an old.
Where do they play football in New York?
Giants Stadium, which is in the Meadowlands, as they say, which is actually New Jersey.
Oh, I see.
Just right over like the bridge in New Jersey. I've been there, the old one, because they have a new stadium too.
Mm-hmm.
It's now called New Giants Stadium. Both the Giants and the Jets play there. I believe it's the only stadium that has two professional teams playing out of the same stadium.
Is that a big one?
Yeah, it's big. I think it's it might be the biggest or the second biggest. It's right next to Dallas in capacity.
Oh, I see.
So, but yeah, no, Green Bay, fourth largest. Once that
I'll be frank. I've never been to the Green Bay Stadium.
Yeah, it's a little slice of history if you're a football fan. I don't know if you're that big of a football fan there.
No. I don't know if I would call myself a fan. I mean, I'm not like I don't have a problem with football, but I just haven't really followed it.
Right. Gotcha. So anyway, that Packer news.
You're kind of becoming. You're starting to convert me.
I'm getting you. Well, yeah. Last week we had the business of the NFL.
The business end of football was interesting.
Yeah. Which, if you missed that, check the archives. There's a nice link on the post there on to the NFL business practices that I found. With that also.
You put the link on the site?
Yes. So now and future casts will have links to some of these articles.
Good.
I think we got a good 7 or 8 of them from last week linked on there if people wanted to see what we were talking about. So check that out. I'm going to try and put little pictures on there too. Otherwise, so that's a Packers news for July 22nd. The season is almost upon us. for all NFL fans.
Yeah. And we have some. Jim, you could bring up the music on this one. I think it should be playing. Yeah.
There is some music.
Yeah.
You can also hear my
kind of
text
intense
message going off in the back there when I was recording our walk in the park.
Sounds so strange.
Sounds different than normal thing. Maybe it's with that water underneath it.
Yeah, I don't know. There's also some announcements.
Yes, let's get going on the announcements as well.
Okay. You're on top of that.
Well, I got one here. Friday, July 27th at the Impala Lounge. We're gonna have, there's some bands. Skull Kodiak, which I hear is amazing, and Mir, and Andy Positive, and the Electric Eels will be playing. And that is Friday, July 27th, starting at 10 p.m. So check that out. You got another one there?
Yeah, I have one here. This one is kind of an advertisement, but it's so non-profitable that I almost don't think it's a concern. It says cassettes for sale. Cassettes for sale, not CDs.
Cassettes.
Casio Killers Volume 1. Let the machines do the work. Lo-fi electronic made with Casio keyboard and children's toys. And Rubberman Volume 1. Mid-90s house and techno mixtape on sale now. So that's a note that we found in our little box of news announcements.
It's from July 20th, as it's dated. Let's free Africa.
And that's all they say, huh?
Yeah, just let's free Africa. Apparently, Africa is not free, so we need to free it.
Right.
It kind of sounds like Prince Albert in a can to me. Gotta let him out.
Here's another one. This one's really bordering into the level of advertising.
Oh boy.
It says check at escapetoecuador.com for all your travel needs. Also stay linked up on Facebook to get involved in local Milwaukee events that benefit our projects.
Well,
so some people are doing some advertising.
Right, well, that's no different than a Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's
I don't know how to.
Yeah, we're at this point we're so happy that we're getting little messages that I'm so happy that I'm just reading them.
Well, we'll see how that goes in the future, but for now, help your community artists. And speaking of that, we have a message here. I am from Portland, Oregon, and I just came here for the first time to visit. Cool stuff. Love your bike paths and trails. Make more of them, please. Daniel wants more bike paths.
Did you hear that?
Need more paths.
Did you hear that? Whoever's in charge of making bike paths?
Yeah, that's right. Couldn't people just make? Well, I guess you gotta have like public parks or something. Apparently, it'd be hard to make a bike path just through people's yards. You can't really do that. Never mind. Unless the community came together and just put like a path through everyone's backyard. Anyway, more bike paths. We can make it happen.
Yeah, I think we can do that. Or someone out there can.
Yep.
Depakote Cogentens. 388-8599. Or else maybe it says 288-8599. Lay Warder.
That's a mystery call.
That's a very cryptic message.
Go ahead and call that number if you dare.
If you need a lay warder.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of a little bit cryptic messages here, July 20th again. My lips hurt from all the rubbing. That's from Clifford. Clifford needs to stop having people rub his lips. All right.
Yeah,
you
that's the
stop
message
rubbing
to-
Clifford's lips.
Yeah, please, everyone out there who's rubbing Clifford's lips, or if you see Clifford rubbing his own lips, then I think those ones are ones that we already read. So that's it. That's our
through
local messages for the week.
messages. I like the bike paths. Speaking of bike paths, I think we may have something about our park system and a clip on that. Would you like to set that up?
Well, sure. This is about the Paul Zazadny.
I think he says it in the clip.
Yeah, has created giant wooden nest-like structures that he built out of logs and branches in the woods on the east side of the Milwaukee River near Caesars Park. And you were just over there, right, Jim?
I just checked them out today. Yes, they are indeed human nests. Like if you thought of a bird nest, made it for a human. It's exactly what it is. It's pretty incredible, actually.
So here we're going to play a little clip from a short sort of report that was made about that. And I'll just jump right into it. This is presented by the Milwaukee Journal.
It was an intuition. It came upon me. It keeps me busy. It keeps me more focused. It's kind of my way of meditating. Hello, my name is Paul Zazadny. We are now
That's how
not
you
far
say it.
from Caesar Park in a area I call it Fort Phoenix. This area used to be a very bad stigma. There was lots of garbage, drug paranoia. I started to clean up. The first thing I did was this fort down there. I took all of these logs and branches and I built a foundation. Made this myself, this lounge chair. Nice. This is all made out of wood and branches and leftover tree stumps. I would call these more towards the structure in an artistic form. I'm Choctaw Native American, and it was kind of a culturistic thing because the fort looks like Native American forts. There's so many trees and branches that have been knocked down throughout the years, and I used all of these, and it was an arm and a leg to bring these over here.
I was just gonna say that, yeah, they look a lot like igloos. So you gotta check
brain
it out.
surgery in 1991,
Wooden igloo, really, is the way to
they
think
found
about
out that my tumor was getting worse and was causing more behavior disorder and seizures. So they removed the tumor. This is what a Native American culture would live in their period of time.
Paul is my youngest. He's a gentle soul. This mess has taken so much energy and time, but it's good for him.
I'm very proud that I'm living this day on this earth. Now, when you come to this side, I'm basically done. The only thing left is to hopefully do some level of gardening, and I really encourage people be interested of volunteering to help me.
It makes me so proud that he's achieving something, and this is going to live on if it stays here. You know, it's going to live on.
I don't have like a full job. I volunteer, but this is kind of my way of keeping myself positive mode and busy.
So that was this place that's right across. It's on Caesars Park, right? And
Caesars Park, yep.
Yeah, if you go where they built that new bridge, if you go down to where Humboldt sort of well, it used to bend around. You go down Humboldt where they built the new bridge. Before you cross that new bridge, and then you take a left into the park area, then you can kind of find this. But it's pretty cool.
Yep, you go down where they have the Caesars Park sign. You go down the steps. Once you're down the steps, you take a right into the path past the turtle.
Right. Yeah, that's the other way. You're talking about the opposite direction.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, I'm going opposite.
Yeah, but no, that's
the
both
way I
work.
went.
Yeah.
And,
down by the
you should
river.
check
And
these out. They're pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's me walking. A little loud there. I'll bring it down.
Yeah, I know Ron. No, I'm sorry. I know Paul from. I met him during the Occupy when we had the
Okay.
teepee in.
Yep.
I was gonna say Garden Park, but it's.
What they call it Garden Park, but Wu-Tang Park's what I call
Oh
it.
yeah, is it called Garden Park? Yeah,
think it's called Garden
and then
Park.
people call it Wu-Tang Park. But I met Paul, and he came and did like a Native American ceremony, and he's a pretty funny guy. He can be a little bit difficult at times, but he's also pretty amusing, and he's really into what he's doing. So and it's cool to see that that he's doing that.
Indeed. Yeah, you gotta check those out. The what did he call them?
He calls it Fort Phoenix.
Fort Phoenix, yes.
Yeah.
I
whole
call them the
thing.
human nest because it looks just like an eagle's nest, but for
Right.
humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, please check that out. Well, it's still nice out.
Yeah. Or in the winter too.
Yeah, in the winter. Yeah.
I was going down there
Yeah,
in
it
the
was-
winter time looking for firewood.
How long have those been down there? Do we know?
See, I only heard about it when Paul came around and said that he was building structures down by the river,
Mm-hmm.
and that the city had given him permission to do it,
Yeah.
and that's part of why he came to help with the teepee.
Okay.
Yeah. But
They're pretty extravagant. If he did them all himself, it had to take quite a while.
yeah, I mean, I think he does get help from people, but
Yeah.
I bet you he does a lot of it by himself as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you want to
So-
tell people about? Oh well, no. You've got your plan all
Well,
ahead of us here.
I just have. My plan is just a bunch of points to talk about, which we may or may not get to all of them, of course.
Right.
But what were you thinking here?
Well, I was thinking maybe you'd want to give people a Singapore sling recipe.
Ah, the Singapore sling, yes. As we like to do the recipes now. A drink recipe of the week, the Singapore sling. We're going into something a little, what do you call it? A classic drink. Classic drink. As it was developed by Nyam Tang Boon. Man, am I good at pronouncing names. For the Raffles Hotel in Singapore in the early 1900s.
Oh wow.
The Singapore sling is a smooth, slow, sweet cocktail with a complex flavor. The original recipe was virtually forgotten by the hotel bartenders, and when they wanted to revive the cocktail, the hotel needed to adapt the recipe from the recollection of those bartenders. This is just one of the newer variations. The original did not use club soda. Alright, so here we are. Prep time, 4 minutes. Total time, 4 minutes. And it yields 1 drink, so it's going to take you a little bit to make it, but here we go. The ingredients are 1.5 ounces of gin, 1 ounce lemon juice, 1/4 ounce sugar syrup, 1.5 teaspoons powdered sugar, 2 ounces club soda, 1/2 ounce cherry brandy, lemon slice for garnish, and maraschino cherry for garnish. Preparation is you pour the gin, lemon juice, sugar syrup, and powdered sugar into a shaker with ice cubes. Shake well. Strain into a highball glass with ice cubes. Pour in the club soda. Float the cherry brandy on top by pouring it over the back of a bar spoon. And garnish with a lemon slice and cherry. And you got yourself a Singapore sling. A classic drink. So yeah, I'm gonna do the ingredients one more time in case people didn't have their pens.
Yes,
1.5 ounce gin,
1.5 ounces of gin,
1 ounce lemon juice,
1 ounce of lemon juice,
1/4 ounce sugar syrup.
1/4 ounce of sugar syrup. Do they tell you how to make that?
No, I think that's like your simple syrups that they have in any.
Yeah, and you can make it just by boiling sugar and water together.
There you go.
Yeah, and stirring it.
1.5 teaspoon powdered sugar.
Mm-hmm.
2 ounces of club soda, unless you're doing the original, which did not have it.
I wonder why they'd put powdered sugar in there.
I don't know.
Maybe because
Yeah.
it dissolves. I don't know.
Yeah. And 1/2 ounce cherry brandy, which you're going to float on the top. And then you put your lemon slice on it and your maraschino cherry on top to make it look pretty. And of course,
So
everyone
wait,
likes a cherry on top.
alcohol-wise, all you're drinking is the brandy?
Gin
Gin.
and the brandy. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
actually 1.5 ounces of gin and 1/2 ounce of cherry brandy. Unless you want to, brandy it up a little bit,
Yeah.
which, make your decide how much brandy you'd like.
So besides for
Wisconsin's
the
a big brandy
besides for the
state,
sugar
so-
water, what gives it flavor? It's the lemon juice and the maraschino cherry.
Yeah, you get an ounce of lemon juice in there,
Oh.
and a lot of sugar, and then you put a cherry on top
Yeah.
and a lemon slice. So
Yeah. Well,
there
that
you are.
sounds
That's
like a
the
good drink.
Singapore Sling.
Yeah, and not to plug any local businesses, but this is for my own, just for pure experience. I really like. Foundation has kind of pretty authentic cocktails that they make.
They do.
They use authentic ingredients, like they'll
Mhm.
actually squeeze limes and stuff
It's true.
the night before or whatever. I don't know. That's what I've heard.
You
at
need to
least.
be a little patient, as it does take time to make these
Well,
drinks. 'Cause like
takes
this one
4
took
minutes.
4 minutes, so don't think you're just gonna get up there and get your drink right away.
Yeah.
It's gonna takes patience to have a good drink. All right. On that, you want to talk about the Goat Man in Utah?
Sure. Yeah.
I think everyone
A
likes the Goat Man. It makes me think of Jim Brewer. If you remember that old Saturday Night Live skit, the Goat Man.
oh, I don't know that. I don't know that.
Yeah,
skit.
he had a skit where he was half man, half goat, and he would do interviews. He would do talk show interviews. He was like a late night talk show host.
Maybe I can find a clip of that later.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
So this is in Salt Lake City, Utah, I suppose. A man is spotted dressed in a goat suit among a herd of wild goats in the mountains of northern Utah. He has wildlife officials worried he could be in danger as hunting season approaches.
Yeah, well, a man dressed as a goat should be worried about hunting season. That's like the old Bugs Bunny routine, right? Or something.
I wonder why.
Once it's
okay.
wabbit season.
Did you hear about that guy who? Well, anyway, I'll talk about that guy afterwards. Philip Douglas of the Wildlife Resources said that the person is doing nothing illegal, but he worries that this so-called goat man is unaware of the dangers.
Well,
My very first concern is this person doesn't understand the risks. Who's to say what could happen?
well, I could say what could happen. You could get shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why he has to say who's to say what could happen. I think it goes without saying that
Yeah.
the problem would be a hunter might mistake him for a goat.
But the weird thing is that they have a goat hunting season up there.
Yeah, well,
That makes sense. It's like our deer hunting
yeah,
season, I suppose.
Or rabbit season.
That is
Again.
that's like one of us dressing like a deer
Rabbits.
during deer hunting season.
Yeah,
that'd be
you wouldn't want to run
very
around with
dumb.
antlers on your head, would you?
Yeah.
Because who's to say what would happen?
Yeah.
You might get shot. That's what's to say about what might happen. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wonder about the man who's living with goats, but
It says here, according to these people can be really enthusiastic about wildlife, and some people do pretty out there things in the name of enjoying wildlife. But I've never seen a report like this.
what
said
about that
Douglas.
grizzly man guy?
Right. Well, it makes me think of the guy from
Yeah.
Grizzly Man.
Yeah. Or Jane, what's her Goodall? Wasn't that the gorillas in the mist lady who was living with the gorillas?
Oh, right. Jane Goodall.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
probably said it wrong as I pronounce everything wrong, but
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Well, they
there's
have
been
a
a long
saying.
history of people living with animals, I
Yeah.
guess. So I guess it's not. I don't think it's that weird, other than someone living with animals.
According to Douglas, there, among biologists, are saying you don't go far enough, you don't get the data. You go too far, you don't go home.
Yeah.
Same is true with wildlife enthusiasts.
I saw a PBS documentary about a man who was he became like a foster turkey father.
Oh, yeah.
He was like living with turkeys,
Mm-hmm.
and he said he had distinguished 16 different turkey gobbles and their meanings by living with them, and like they would follow him around, like he was their parent, and then the weird thing was, like, after the year, once they like got to the point of maturing where they'd go off on their own,
Yeah.
they started kind of like attacking him a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so he eventually, I think, had to let his turkeys go, but.
Interesting.
Long line of people living with animals.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been people that go to Antarctica all the time, live with the penguins, I think. Pretty much any of these National Geographic camera people, right? They might not be actually
Right.
with the animals,
Yeah.
but you're pretty much kind of living with them in a
Yeah.
distance.
Yeah.
So,
I heard about a guy. This is a thing I was going to start earlier. I heard about a guy who got found in the desert, and he he knew how to hike and everything, but for some reason someone stole all his gear, and he was planning to do a long hike through the desert, like through not Death Valley, but something like that, and he just went anyway.
oh geez.
But he was kind of autistic, and I guess he just was obsessed with going on this
Yeah.
hiking trip. So someone stole all his gear, and he just decided he was going to go anyway, and he almost died.
Yeah.
But they said that because he was autistic, that's part of why he survived, was that he was just so fixated. So like
Because
Like
his
any
brain,
other
he
person
became
would-
so
he just had, it gave him
Had
so
that
much more drive or
will.
something. Yeah,
so much more will. Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
yeah. So
Well, I guess in the end, if you want to live with the animals, who's to say you can't? But
Right.
just be careful of hunting season, because who's to say what could happen?
yeah, I mean, here it goes. This goes on with the story. He says, this one person, Cody Creighton, spotted the goat man Sunday during his hike. I thought it was a deformed goat. Creighton told the Standard Examiner of Ogden. It was clumsy, not nimble. He said he pulled up binoculars to get a closer look at the herd and was shocked. The man appeared to be acting like a goat while wearing a crudely made costume, which had fake horns, a cloth mask with cut-out eye holes.
Yeah, he was going all out.
He was on his hands and knees crawling on the mountainside. Something was definitely off with this guy.
Yeah, Whew. Well, let's hope Goatman.
Yeah, I hope
Makes
he's.
it
I hope
through.
somebody is watching out for him.
Whew.
Yeah.
So, Goatman. Speaking of Goatman, I got some news here from the great journalist at Maxim. But this is kind of good. You could be Batman. Yep. So we got the new Batman movie out. Of course, we have that horrible story about the.
Yeah.
But
We haven't even gone there.
we don't need to. I think
Yeah.
I saw that on Friday. That was all you saw on like
I know,
CNN. and
I know.
Don't need to go into it.
Yeah, all you have to do
Awful.
is go
Just
to any
leave it
news
alone.
source and you'll hear.
You know, the
hear
best thing to
everything.
do about that is to not talk about it, because that's exactly what the guy was probably looking for anyways.
That's true. That's
So-
a good point.
So how to be Batman. You can have your own bat hook for
Uh-huh.
$180. It's a grappling hook. Comes from it's a grabber collapsible grappling hook. Weighs just 1.5 pounds and can hold up to 1,650 pounds on a single line.
Wow.
So this the favorite of the special forces. So $180, get yourself a bat hook. There's also bat cuffs, which are the ASP 56121 rigid handcuffs, made of stainless steel, coated in ordnance grade polymer. That's $73 for some quality bat cuffs. You got your bat smoke, which is $20. It's a Fat Man 2 smoke grenade, $20 that produces your smoke. Bat picks, which is the Lab 11-piece mini lock pick set. Those are only $32 for a lock pick set. That seems cheap.
If it works, it's a good deal.
Yeah, well, I guess you have to learn how to use them, of course, but yeah. Grab yourself a couple master locks and practice at home.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I should be telling people to practice lock picking, but
Well, it's up to them.
oh yeah, exactly. There's also a bat taser. It's the Knuckle Blaster stun gun, which is it's like brass knuckles but with 2 taser pieces on the front.
Oh.
So when you
ooh.
punch someone, you
Whoa.
taser them. It's a Knuckle
Ow.
Blaster. The
Jeez.
Knuckle Blaster stun gun. That's only $57
Wow.
for some taser brass knuckles, and your bat armor, which is $500. The Pro Max stab resistant concealable vest. Can you wear those? Are those legal? I mean, I guess it's usually by state, but I heard I don't know. There's something weird about. There's something weird about using armor or not. I mean, you can conceal and carry now, so
Yeah.
I think you'd be able to wear some protection. Protection's way better than.
Yeah, can you wear bulletproof vest?
That's
Probably.
what
I
yeah,
imagine
I've
that.
heard that there was.
Why wouldn't you
something-
be able? Cause you're not going to hurt anyone by doing that.
You don't think so?
I mean, yeah, not
So-
in a direct way.
Right. But anyway, there's all the supplies you need to become Batman.
Yeah.
There you go.
Why do you know why Batman wears a mask? What is the whole deal with that? Not in the story, but I'm saying why is it that we're attracted to stories of
masked superheroes?
Yeah. And even the villains are masked.
Yeah, it's true. Why are they masked?
What is that? I wonder about, like, I feel like Batman's a strange phenomenon because I feel like Batman was written for kids
Yeah, to begin with.
originally, right?
Right.
I mean, it wasn't written for
Well,
grown-ups.
all comic books were originally just for youth.
Yeah, for youth.
It wasn't until what?
I mean, I'm sure probably some older people did
I
read
think
Batman in the
60
50s. and stuff.
yeah,
But
this late.
But now I
60s,
feel
late
like when you go to
60s.
the Dark Knight and see those films, I have trouble imagining anyone like 10 or 11 years old even getting it. It's gotten to be so mature, and really I feel like it's written for like men.
Well, I think
grown men who still like superheroes.
I think
stuff.
the new Batman is definitely for.
or actually
grown
men and women.
Well,
It's like,
right.
yeah.
Or
But
adults.
adults. Yeah.
Or young adults.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe your teens, high school and up.
I feel like
ish.
I feel like the plot and stuff are actually pretty sophisticated. It's I don't know. It's just kind of strange to me. Like, I wonder who the target audience is. It seems an older crowd and less of a kid crowd.
I think that's just with that's nostalgia and I mean the comic book crowd, like you said, is grown up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you go to comic book stores and stuff now, I haven't been to one in a while, but
Right.
you look at the average age of people in there.
Yeah.
It's on the higher end, I think.
Yeah,
it's
I
not,
think so.
It's not.
It's kind of like that Gen Con type
Yeah.
of crowd.
Well, Comic-Con we talked about last week was going on
Yeah.
in San Diego.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of kids there, but there was a lot of grown-ups there too.
Mhm,
I mean, you see all the people who go all out to make their costumes and stuff, and they're definitely in their early 20s, if not older.
Right.
We're really, really getting into it, but they also have more disposable income, I think, these days.
Yeah, so they're maybe targeting them more.
Yeah.
And also they're targeting it. It
that
seems to me
coveted
like they're
18 to
probably also
35
targeting the
demographic.
world audience, not just an American audience
True.
anymore.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I heard something about the Chinese are now surpassing America in terms of movie ticket sales or something like that. The Chinese that somehow
There's more people.
yeah, and I mean I imagine a movie in China costs a lot less than a movie in America, but there's a lot of Chinese.
Yeah.
I heard recently that the Chinese were up almost at 600 internet users, 600 million,
600 million internet
half a
users.
billion. I believe that's half a
In
billion.
China?
Yeah, half of a billion.
Well, there you
So
go.
in other words, a little under half of the Chinese people
Mm-hmm.
are now online
That's
using computers. I mean, that's the entire population of America is only 300 million, 300 something million.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's
It's
less
not
than I would've
400.
guessed.
It's not 400 million.
Okay.
Not even.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
So
there
like,
you go. Well, there was also the comic books for a little bit had I think why they got older was they had the stigma of being for kids, and a lot of directors wanted to break out of that.
Oh, yeah, that
Give
makes
them
sense.
a little bit more
Yeah.
notoriety as the the guy who got away from making the campy comic book movies, making the serious ones. I'm waiting for him to make the serious Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah.
Which they have a new one coming out supposedly from Michael Bay, possibly, if it's still being worked on. But it's going to be, again, like PG-13 or whatever. I want them to make an R-rated one, like where they got the image version of the comic books where they started. Like, I mean, the Ninja Turtles are like swearing and actually like beating the crap out of people and stuff instead of the robots. Well, I guess they did that kind of in the movie, but they did it in the PG way. But anyway, I'm just saying, R-rated Ninja Turtles would be pretty sweet. Seeing as how I grew up with the comic.
Yeah, you know, it's lost on me because I didn't really grow up with them. I'm too old for Ninja Turtles.
That was my grow up. But I think that's it too. People grew up with it and they want to see it now done in the older, mature, or whatever you want to call it way, serious way. Less campy. What else we got on here? Oh, speaking of American and Chinese, I have The Onion here has a cartoon, and I thought it was interesting about American and Chinese relations a little bit from the guy, the editorial cartoon Onion guy, who's always cranky, and he draws himself in the corner of each one. But it's got a picture of a naive lady selling wines and a naive-looking consumer, and it says, "It's kind of neat how more and more wines have screw tops these days." And you go to the next panel here, and it's got the Chinese wine cap factory, and the Chinese man looking very menacing. He. Plan to defeat the USA. Phase 1, wipe out their cork industry. And the grumpy man on the bottom says, "America corkscrewed." So, anyway, just thinking of Chinese and America, how...
Yeah.
Well, we've been outsourcing forever, you know.
Right.
That's what we did to ourselves.
And they've been insourcing.
Right. Well,
yeah.
They needed jobs, and we were willing to give them to them.
Right. Well, we meaning
corporations,
company owners,
American-made companies that moved.
Yeah.
Not as many. Well, there was the good old automotive industry influx in when was that? When the Gung Ho was made and stuff, the Michael Keaton movie. But about the Japanese cars coming over to America to be made here.
Yeah, well, you know, it's all of this stuff will change around, and you know, it'll probably go one way, and then it'll come back around in its own way somehow.
It's the only real industry I can think of, though, of other companies coming to America to make their product is the automotive industry. With Honda, Toyota, all those, they started coming over here. I forgot about I forgot we were on a walk. Yeah, I'm gonna turn that
it's
up.
Very windy.
We are on a walk.
I don't mind it though. I like the wind.
So I don't know. Anyway.
Speaking of China, there was sounds like a pretty serious flood in China. And the death toll has risen to 37 people. A 20-hour storm that hit Beijing on Saturday claimed the lives of 37. 25 were caused by drowning. Millions of people across the capital were hit by a deluge, and thousands were evacuated from their homes.
Oh, wow.
So we've had a lot of we talked about it last week, the crazy weather things, and in Shorewood, there was, of course, this big fire in River West last week. When was that?
That was last week, last week during.
Have we had a show?
It was like the middle of the week. No, we haven't had a show since then.
Oh, yeah. So there was,
it was like Monday or
That was
Tuesday?
The biggest news thing that's happened in River West in a while. Even though, you have that. The same night, I believe it was the same night or the next night, it rained, and in Shorewood, a house caught fire from a lightning strike.
Oh, really?
And and I just happened to be driving with my mom and Elmo, and we saw this house that was on fire. because of it was hit by lightning. Then I was talking to a computer guy who helps us with the web station, and he told me that the food co-op's entire computer system went down because of a lightning strike. And to me, it's sort of like, I haven't heard about so many things being struck by lightning, you know, and of course we're having extreme weather in terms of heat.
We had a weird little white lightning thing, we think, at work too, where our computer systems had a little malfunction. We had to have someone come out the next day. We didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew there was lightning going on.
Yeah,
that's the only
and
thing
actually this radio station went down because of lightning, but that was because I didn't know the password to restart the computer. But then in addition to that, you have this fire on Center Street, on Center Street and between Booth and Fratney, or between Booth and Palmer. No, not Palmer.
Fratney and no, not Fratney.
Pierce and Booth.
Yes.
And then, if you go back a couple weeks before that, someone was killed in front of Club Timbuktu, shot dead.
Kind of shooting. Like
just a robbery.
Really?
And the guy happened to be my sister's husband's friend, or he knew the guy. They knew him. And but anyway, it's just sort of like so you have this crazy weather stuff happening, and I mean, call me paranoid, you know. And then you have all this just violence or whatever in River West. There's been quite a few. I mean, a lot of muggings and stuff in the summer too. And anyway, I just see like things are getting kind of intense. I think I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I'm just pointing it out.
There seems to be something in the air. You're saying.
Well, that there's the weather, and then you have like the economy and people getting more desperate.
Right.
And the two go hand in hand. I mean, we're going to have the prices are going to be really affected by a bad corn year in the Midwest. Corn is
drought and
we depend on corn for everything,
states,
right?
It's like half the country is in a drought.
Yeah. Half the country has had weather emergency, or I forget what it was, a state of emergency or something for a lot of counties all over the country, and then you have like this flooding in China, and it's just all these things cost money, at a time when we're having major financial problems. So it just seems like everything's getting a little more intense all the time.
Oh, man.
So, whatever. We'll just have to, it'll be a boon for us, those people who report the news. We have a lot to talk about.
We've been talking a lot about our few articles so far. So we're doing good on that one. Let's get out of the negative and into the positive here. This is from the Bayview Compass. The Take a Book, Leave a Book at a Little Free Library program. The first Little Free Library was built in 2009 when Todd Bull decided to honor his late mother, a former teacher, by building a miniature library to place in the yard of his Hudson, Wisconsin home. The same year, Bull met Madison-based Rick Brooks, an outreach program manager for the UW Division of Continuing Studies. They found they had a lot in common and began talking about ways to enlarge upon Bull's mini library idea. So what he's got, and they're around town, there's one at Humboldt Park School, one on Springfield Avenue, and one on Plainfield Avenue, and they're little... they're like little shelving units that look like giant birdhouses, kind of, that you put books in, and anyone can open it up, leave a book in there, open it up, take a book. It's like a little book depot. Just out on the street. I'm gonna put this up in front of the thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Hey. So, little houses for leave a book, take a book. Which I was thinking it'd be nice if we could actually do that in the community for like other things, like say like building supplies or something, like leave a hammer, take a hammer, screwdriver. You could have like a little thing of like tools. I don't know how long that would last. It'd probably be a good social experiment. to see if that could actually survive before it gets pilfered.
Yeah, I believe that. Well, they have free boxes and stuff. I think you can do it though if you did it in a nice sort of organized way. I bet it could work pretty well. There are some communities that have started tool libraries where you can check out a tool just like you check out a book at a library.
See, that would be that's something the government should actually look more into.
Oh, now you're gonna piss off all the libertarians out there.
Oh well, I only say that because I don't think they're doing a whole lot better with our tax money.
No,
That'd be something I would actually support.
Oh yeah, no, I'm playing the devil's advocate. Of course,
Right.
I think it's a great idea. Why not? Especially if it's initiated by people in a community,
Right.
You know. But I agree. I mean, really, if we just focused all our resources into education and healthcare, and then things like that are just kind of public goods,
public services, and the sharing of goods. Where
I think
more like, like like a library where you check it out and you get it for a weekend and you bring it back.
right.
Like, then you don't have to go buy like a handsaw or a circular saw for a week, or just because you need it for one weekend.
Right.
You just go check out a
It
circular
exists.
saw.
Yeah, it
and
already
of course
exists.
you'd have to put the thing on there. Or where is it? No, where is that?
I'm gonna look it up.
All right, because that would just make sense. Of course, the problem with that is it's not very capitalist. It really would screw up the companies who make those things.
Yeah. Well, unless
in the long term it would, not in the short term. In the
Yeah, I
short
mean,
term, it'd be good.
Yeah, it's kind of like the question of can't they make cars that last for ever and
Right.
ever, or for a very, very long time, the way that they build certain things like tractors. You see tractors and they haven't changed the model that much since the 50s or so.
Right.
And I mean, some John Deere tractors look super
Sure, but
souped
for the
up.
most part, they're pretty.
it's a pretty
all
simple
function
machine.
The same exact way.
Yeah, and a combustion engine and all that. I mean, of course, there's been all kinds of advances, but
It's mostly just electronics, though, that they add onto it.
right.
The machinery itself, I don't think, has really changed much at all, right?
And also, I mean, the shape of the body and all that, and the color of the paint, things like that. I mean, yes, we all want to feel like the world is new and
Evolving.
improved in some ways, but I think that whole concept of new and improved, that's got to change a little bit.
Well, I've always been that way with technology. I still have VHS tapes,
Mhm.
and I still like them for their VHS quality, which I still say you can't watch a movie on any of the new high def or anything that will look, as far as I'm concerned, more similar to the film experience at home than
Yeah.
a VHS tape.
I think, yeah.
It's still got an analog look
as
to it.
a video DJ.
Yep.
I use VHS quite a bit because you can pop them in and out really quickly, where a DVD you need to load it and so on.
Right.
So it's nice to have VHS so you can quickly switch
I didn't think about
movies
the video
quick.
DJ part.
Yeah, but I've noticed, I don't really know the difference when I've got something that's on VHS or something that's on DVD for the most part. Not really. I mean, maybe a little bit, but the VHS it's not an improvement. DVDs are not an improvement. They're just thinner. That's all. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Of course, Blu-ray is.
Well, right. Well, that you're getting into lines of resolution.
But anyway, getting back to the tool lending,
yes.
they're called tool lending libraries.
Okay.
The first one was started in Columbus, Ohio in 1976.
Wow.
And there are tool lending libraries all over the place. Australia, Canada, Arizona, Colorado, California, Georgia. The list goes on. There's about 20 or 30 states that have them.
Do we?
Some of them are connected to public libraries, or some of them are. So actually, if someone wanted to start one, they could actually maybe talk to the public library about just adding a wing or a room to the library that's just a tool lending library.
That would make sense too, because I think libraries nowadays, for people who, maybe not so much actually in the cities, but in the suburbs too, because I hear about this from my well, my stepmom, who is in Brown County, and a lot of people don't want to support the library because people don't think people use the library anymore, especially in the suburbs.
Yeah.
Because, it's like, everyone's got their own computer, except for the people who don't.
Right,
But the people making decisions
The
aren't those people.
hardware is
You
something
bring that in,
Yeah.
and now
Right.
maybe that's something that they
Gives
could
it more
actually-
meaning.
Right, they could actually understand more. So our policymakers might understand that a little better than, say, the just normal functions of your library.
Yeah. No.
Just an idea. For anyone in the suburbs who's on some city council or in some form of library management, maybe bring some tools in. Just an idea.
Yeah, just an idea. It looks like we're kind of coming to the end of the hour, which is kind of surprising,
It
actually.
flew by today.
Yeah, it did.
Flew by.
We could go on and on. There's so much news out there.
There is.
But,
Bunch of blah blah blah. Speaking of, okay, there's a humongous article. I'm just gonna throw this out there from the Bayview Compass again. I know Bayview's kind of like River West arch rival, right?
Oh, what is? I'm sorry.
Bayview.
Yeah.
Bayview and River West, aren't they supposed to be like arch rivals?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
I just
okay.
wanted to start
Okay.
that fight. But no, because I think there's a lot in common between those two communities. But anyway, I wanted to get the fight going. 'Cause that's all.
Yeah, I would say it's more. I would say if we had an arch rival, it would probably be what's that place where it's all Scott Walker? You know, like they're totally pro
Oh,
Scott
geez.
Walker. Waukesha? Is it Waukesha?
Oh, Waukesha or Brookfield, one of the two.
Yeah, like if you go up Blue Mound Road.
Wauwatosa maybe.
No, not
No,
Tosa.
Waukesha.
Not Tosa.
I think it was
yeah.
Waukesha.
I think it's Waukesha.
Something like
that
that.
would be our arch rivals.
There you
People who
go.
just despise everything liberal and.
Well, I think River West and Bayview could have like one of those friendly arch rivalries.
Yeah.
Where it's not actually.
Yeah.
Not actually like
Not
angry
actual,
at each
like-
other. You're just trying to outdo
Right.
each other.
Yeah.
One of those. But anyway, in that paper, the Bayview Compass, there's a huge write-up on scrutiny reveals troubled Sweetwater. So the Sweetwater, which is, and also Growing Power, which is doing the urban
Sweetwater Organic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of trouble.
Yes. So a humongous article on that. Too much really to go into on this show. Like it's like 5-6 full pages in that paper. If
Uh-huh.
you're interested.
Yeah.
Where to get the big scoop on that one. And also.
Yeah, that is a strange project because it's got, I don't know all the details of it, but I don't think you can blame people for wanting the things that was attempting to do. I think it was just
Right.
mismanaged by the wrong kinds of people.
And that's what the article goes into. So
Yeah.
check that out. Also
600-year-old linen bras were found in an Austrian castle.
600-year-old or 600-year-old?
600-year-old.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That is an old brassiere.
Yeah. Oh, several bras.
Oh, several.
But they were 600 years old each.
Wow.
And it's revolutionizing the whole history of underwear.
Really?
Yeah, people didn't
It's gonna
realize
be a renaissance.
that 600 years ago women wore bras.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, you gotta have that support, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not a lady.
it kind of makes sense. It had commonly been thought that a little more than 100 years ago.
Ready to start the show?
Yeah.
Oh, that was me coming in here to get ready
That's
for the show.
Frank, the main. Oh.
So I think so that was the beginning of the end there.
Yeah, that was
so,
right.
Anyway, but check out on the links. There'll be links.
Yeah.
Remember, links everybody for these archived shows on the articles that we read. And remember, Chuck and Santiago coming up next. We need to get out of here. But until next week, everyone have a good one.
Yeah.
We'll see you then. Jim Van Vanner and Zav LaPlay signing off for Jim and Friends
Yeah.
Read the News,
And
July 22nd.
Try to stay out of the news.